Hello, welcome to the Undercovers. I'm Ben Gramato, and joining me, as always, are Tommy, Paul, and Jenna. And tonight we got a lot to talk about. The Bills kick off their OTAs. Josh Allen is the first Buffalo athlete ever to be on the cover of a major sports video game. So, guys, how are we feeling about our boy QB1, Josh? Uh, making Bills history and being, the face of NFL video games this year. I mean, that's a huge deal.
Right. I'm more than happy. I'm proud of Josh. I mean, it's well deserved. Like I know he was supposed to be on it last year, but with Madden passing away, they had to put him on. But this year, it's one of the best things for him, and I know he's happy and proud. So go Josh.
Yeah, I'm really happy. Like, it brings a tear to my eye just thinking about how far he's come.
Yeah.
Being a joke of a prospect, as he was called, coming out of college, and now he's the face of the NFL, cover of Madden. It's just like, it's unreal. I can't believe it. Actually, I
Makes
can believe it because he's worked hard and we know who he is, but just getting to that spot, being recognized, is just unprecedented for a Bills athlete in the modern era.
I'm just excited that he's on the cover. That I can, every time, like kind of what Deion Dawkins said to him. Like every time I'm going to turn on my PlayStation now, I'm going to see Josh Allen. Now, as a Bills fan, it makes me super excited that I can sit here and play with my favorite quarterback in the game, but also see him on the cover of a national game, and just to see the national recognition of a small market team, and where he's come from. Not even getting the only really D1 offer he got was Wyoming. Going from there back to like what Jenna just said, just being this nobody, even entering the NFL, and here he is now, the face of the cover of one of the biggest games played nationwide.
Yeah, and I mean, you just bring that up about being able to boot. I mean, I didn't even really think about that before you mentioned it, Paul. Just seeing him every time you turn on the game, and like for Jets fans and other fan bases, like division rivals, like if they want to play their favorite team as their favorite team, I mean, this goes for Chiefs and Bengals fans. They gotta watch Josh Allen every single time, and they could stay as mad as they want about it because I mean he definitely deserved it. I mean Mahomes didn't win a Super Bowl before he was on the cover of Madden. Lamar's never won a championship. No, not his first. Not his first
No,
Madden.
I know, but he won the MVP the season before. So
Oh,
that's
right.
why
I'm just going off of Super Bowls though, because
right.
Lamar doesn't have the Super Bowl and he was on it. But you're right. I mean, Lamar did get the MVP, but we know how that playoff success has translated. I mean, he's got the one playoff win in his career. But I mean, just to go back, like the last Madden game I bought was Madden 19 when AB was on the cover, and I bought Josh Allen's Funko Pop. That was his rookie year. So like it's kind of ironic. The last time I bought a Madden video game, I was buying the Josh Allen Funko Pop to go along with it. Now this time I'll be buying a Madden. The next Madden game I'm buying is the one with Allen on the cover. I mean, I'm not the greatest Madden player, full disclaimer, but I guess now that he's on the cover, I'll hopefully have to get a little bit better at it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm only a beginner. I play on rookie mode. Full disclosure, I play on rookie mode. I'm a beginner. But not to toot my own horn, but I did beat the Chiefs 42-3 the other day.
There you go.
There we go.
That's
There you
nice.
go.
It's not easy, even beyond being on rookie mode as a beginner. It's not easy. Yeah. But yeah, it's unreal. I'm really excited.
That event they did with like all the fans in Buffalo, like the launch event, that was so cool. And like Josh was interacting with the fans, and then he brought out the jerseys to Elvis, and his family. Like I don't know if you guys saw that video, but
yeah, I did.
that was sick. I kind of wish I was there, but I mean maybe in the future. Josh just seems like a great guy, just being with the how well he's involved with the community and fans. And speaking of fans, like on the deluxe edition, Bills Mafia is the first fan base ever, to make it on a Madden cover. So, I mean, I guess shout out to our fan base.
Yes, shout out to Bills Mafia.
As bad as it can be on Twitter or all the drama or whatever at times, like, I mean, we're still known as one of the best fan bases in football. Like, you hear what JJ Watt says about, he wants to have a beer with Bills Mafia. And then for our fan base, after everything it went through last year, with the shooting, and I mean, our community, a lot of losses with that snowstorm and everything. So I think it's deserved for our fan base as well. So, I mean, I think it's awesome that, we're represented on that Madden cover as well. 100%. Not just Josh Allen.
Right.
Yeah. And what I really like is that the LA Bills backers bar is the one that was represented on there. So
that is cool.
I thought that it was fake fans, just actors. But then when Josh said that it's actually a part of a bar, that just makes it even more special that they're actual fans.
They had no idea it was. That's what makes it even more special. They were no idea.
Yeah, it's
the
really
fans make. I mean, honestly, if you look at any sport, you look at the fans. The fans really, you could say the players make the sport, but really, what makes the sport entertaining and fun and engaging is the fans. And to see them there, buying tickets every week just to go out and see their team good. Either if they're really good or they could be really bad. They're just there.
Our fan base has always showed up. I mean, that's a great point, Paul. Remember when I don't think you were on it at, you were in the interview at that point of the show, but Tommy and Jenna, remember what Alec Anderson said about his best memory and how great, the fans are and how much he loves playing in front of, the Bills fans. Like, that is, I mean, that's a great point.
Yep. His favorite memory is when Bills fans were throwing snowballs at the Dolphins.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. I mean, that was probably my favorite memory as a Bills fan too.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite game this year.
Yeah, it was.
It certainly was.
I didn't go to the game, but it's probably my favorite game to watch this year.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
When I seen the article that he was actually going to be, at this event. I live in Buffalo, so I'm like, oh my goodness, Josh Allen's going to be at this event, and I was super excited. But then I read it was like invite only. I'm like, man, I wish I was one of the cool people that could go.
Yeah, I actually knew that he was going to be there because somebody that I follow on Twitter, he actually told me that that he works at the restaurant, and that.
Really?
Sorry, I don't remember who told me this, but I just remember I was told that Josh was going to be there at the restaurant for the EA Madden event.
Well, shout out to the restaurant, whatever restaurant it was.
Like 500 Pearl Street or something.
500 Pearl.
Yeah, the 500 Pearl. Shout out.
Shout
Now, with these Madden, I think they haven't released the full rankings, but with Madden coming out, like I bet we have a lot. I mean, I think you guys see those interviews of Josh. I know he did one with USA Today talking about like our Bills ratings and what they'd be like if we added D-Hop. But I mean, even without D-Hop, I think it's safe to say we're gonna have a very high rankings in Madden. Like EA. I mean, I know other fan bases may not like it, but they seem to like the Bills with how they rate their players. So, I mean, I feel like as far as ratings, we're going to have a bunch of players rated pretty high. And, I mean, just speaking of ratings and rankings, as the season gets closer, one thing that, we all kind of decided we wanted to do is see how the Bills stack up to the rest of the AFC East teams as far as roster goes, because I've heard so much talk about how all these teams are narrowing the gap and how they finally caught up. But I mean, when I look at it, I still feel like the Bills roster is up there. I feel like position group, we still might be near the top at almost every position group. So I guess we'll transition to our next segment. And we're just going to kind of do this loosely, but we're going to be going through and ranking position groups and positions in the AFC. So we're going to start off with quarterbacks. This one, it might seem a little biased, but we'll try. I mean, the whole list we're going to try to be as non-biased as possible, but starting off, this is an easy one. I think we can all be in agreement that we got the best QB room in the division, right?
I got you. Yep. Josh.
Yeah, I agree with you.
100%.
I mean, even with Kyle Allen and Matt Barkley, it's still
Yeah.
we have Josh Allen. We have the most athletically gifted quarterback in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. The most,
oh yeah,
not decorated. I mean, obviously, Aaron Rodgers is the most decorated, but
right.
not in the AFC East. He is.
right. He's accomplished the
so
most in this division out of current quarterbacks. Yeah.
Exactly. He's won 3 division titles.
I mean, if you take it to apart like depth charts, backups, I mean, you could probably say Bailey Zappi or Mike White might be better than Allen, but I mean, I don't. Kyle Allen, that is, not Josh Allen. I gotta, make sure that I specify which Allen I'm talking about. But
it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny this season. If when other fans get a whiff of the Bills have Kyle Allen in their quarterback depth, they're gonna be like, Mike White is better than Allen. And we'll be like,
I mean, if you're relying on your backup quarterback, I mean, you're not in a great spot anyways. But yeah, I think we could all agree Bills won.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you have any other input on that, Paul, or you agree?
I completely agree that that Josh Allen and the Bills have the best quarterback room. I mean, you look at all 3 of the other quarterbacks. I think what else you also have to take into account is that Josh Allen has also been healthy for so many games in a row that he's been able to play games longer than Patrick. He's started more games in consecutive row than Patrick Mahomes has started in consecutive games. So he's been available every week, every time that he's supposed to play, hurt or not hurt. He's on the field. I mean, you look at Rodgers, he has injury concerns. You look at Tua, he has injury concerns. Mac Jones, we just haven't seen enough of Mac Jones to say that he is definitely a top whatever quarterback in this league. So you just look at it. Yes, the Bills may not have the greatest backup out of the 4 teams in the AFC East, but they have the quarterback that will play every day in this league.
And Mac Jones had sprained ankle, so he's had some injury concerns.
That's true. So I guess number 2, if you guys, Tommy,
yeah,
who do you have as your number 2?
Number
2 behind Josh.
I had Aaron Rodgers 2 behind Josh.
Yeah.
Everyone in agreement with that? That's who I have as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think considering 2022, obviously Rodgers had a down year.
Mm-hmm.
Tua had an up year, but that 1-year sample size cannot override the majority that we have seen from those 2. Aaron Rodgers is still one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history.
Yep.
Tua only had, he did really well last season, but his best games were against some of the worst teams. That stretch where they were just going like this, it was some of the worst teams. They had the Bears,
I think the line,
the Jets, the line. They were in.
No, they lost to the Jets.
Lions. They lost to the Jets when Tua was out.
Yeah.
Actually, they lost to the Vikings.
Oh, you're talking about. I thought you were talking about. Sorry, you were talking about Miami. I was. For some reason, I thought you were talking about Rodgers.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
But with the Dolphins, while Tua was on his hot streak, it was against some pretty piss poor teams.
Yeah.
And then he fell apart when they faced the Niners, the Chargers, the Bills, even the Packers.
Packers with Rodgers. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Always good until that hit, right?
Yeah.
And then he threw 3 interceptions in a row? That was crazy.
Yeah. That was holy moly! I forgot.
I've never seen anything like that.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on Tua. I think that he is a very good quarterback. That he has a lot of potential, but he needs to be available.
Right, 100%.
And he needs to prove himself against greater teams,
Right.
not just these crappy teams. So I think it's fair to put Rodgers above Tua for now,
Yep. Just
even
for now.
though he's going into a new division.
Yep.
One thing when I was going through some of these rankings by position, it was the one thing that interested me was how much some of these stats vary between these different quarterbacks. Like you look at Rodgers, like you look at Josh Allen, he has a 63.3% completion percentage. Tua has a 64.6 completion percentage. Even though obviously Tua didn't play an entire season, Josh Allen was also pressured 17.4% of the time in his passes. So
Right.
the stats sometimes don't tell the complete story. That's the one thing I got out of this when I was looking through it, was like, well, what else do you have to take into account when ranking or seeing who should be better than the others? Is availability comes into account. Is that if you're not available every day, why are you in the NFL? Like, you know what I mean? It's like you get drafted because you're supposed to play. You don't get drafted because you're not supposed to play. You're supposed to be there every day to play.
Right. Availability is your best
field.
ability. 100%. I agree.
Me too.
So, I mean, I guess we probably don't even need to finish it off. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Mac is probably the clear cut QB4 between everyone.
Yep.
So I have running backs next. I don't know how you guys did your list, so I don't know how you guys want to do it. And I chose Stevenson as my RB1 in the division. I know that might be controversial. Maybe he's not the most talented, but he was the most productive last year, and they're a very run-heavy team, and I expect that to continue. And so I got Ramondre Stevenson as RB1 in the division.
Yeah. That is fair because Brees is coming off an ACL tear, so we don't know how his production's going to be, even though he might be the most talented running back in the division. So I think it's debatable that Stevenson is RB1.
I would take Brees Hall honestly as RB1 over Stevenson. I mean, just look at what Brees Hall did last year before his injury. I mean, he had 463 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he averaged 5.8 yards per carry. That was before he got hurt. So he was on the trend to be Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. So I think, if he didn't get hurt, I think Brees Hall has an argument to be the best back in the AFC East.
I agree.
See, my problem with that, though, is football is not built on hypotheticals. It's built on reality and the plays that actually happen on the field and what happens. The reality is Brees Hall did not win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He played half the season, and right now he's not even healthy. So you've seen what running backs have looked like post ACL recently. Outside of Adrian Peterson, it has not been pretty, in my opinion. So for a running back, especially like Brees Hall, a guy he relies on explosiveness, speed, cutting. It's not like AP where he can just run guys over and he's hard to tackle because he's strong and powerful. For Brees Hall to be Brees Hall, he needs to be 100% healthy. So until I see it, I'm going to take Stevenson because, I mean, even statistically, I mean, Stevenson's had a very good season last year. So I don't know. I guess we're kind of split here, or maybe not. I guess it's 3v1. You guys both taking all three of you guys are going Hall?
I had Hall number 1, yeah.
Like you said, football's not built on hypotheticals and it's reality. Like we have preached, availability is the best ability. So I think I'm still gonna take Hall. I just, it's a shame that he tore his ACL.
Oh, it is, because I had him on my fantasy team and it tanked after that.
Because he would have had a hell of a career. I mean, had he, I mean, that's not to say that he's
Yeah,
not
hell of
going
a
to have a
rookie
hell
year. I got what you
of
meant.
a rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Hall, I had Hall and I had Cooper Cup on my fantasy team last year. Oh
Oh
my
man.
gosh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that really sucks.
But I mean, looking at the stats, I didn't think Stevenson averaged 5 yards a carry. That's pretty good for a running back of his style. So it might be a little closer, but I guess we're split. All right, wide receivers. I don't know how you guys did it. I think the best is Diggs.
Yep, I had him.
That's number one.
Yep, I had him on number one.
I think that's a clear-cut answer that
Route
Diggs should be
running?
one.
Route running, Diggs. Tyreek Hill. He can do a lot of damage with his speed.
Yeah, you can make an argument for Tyreek. Like I have him as my number two. Like you need two starting receivers. So, I mean, they're going to line up opposite from each other on my team. I think it's probably more interesting, or it gets a little more interesting, the debate when you want to talk about three. I mean, I'm not going to be biased. Yeah, I had Waddle as well, but I mean, I think you can make a case for Wilson as well. I had Waddle though.
I would say Waddle because he's going into his third season.
Yeah. What about you, Paul?
I would completely agree with Diggs, Hill, Waddle. I mean, even though Garrett Wilson tore up the league last year in his rookie season, that was his rookie season. What are we going to see of him in year two? So that's where maybe you put him 4 or 5. But I think obviously Diggs, just based off what he's done with the Bills over the last 4 years, 5 years now, I mean, he's definitely has to be.
He's only with the Bills 3 years, 3 seasons.
Man.
I know time goes by fast. I think it's
time goes way by fast. But what he's done over the last 3 seasons with the Bills has been insane. I mean, all the catches, touchdowns, yards. I mean, he's literally fifth among.
Yeah, I think he has the 3 best receiving seasons in franchise history, and he's been here 3 seasons, which is like insane.
So then you go like, well, who's next? It's definitely Hill and Waddle. I mean, what Tyreek Hill is able to do, electric speed. I mean, he's able to catch the ball and just go boom. And then same thing with Waddle. I mean, the vertical threat is insanely good. I mean, you saw what he did on like third and forever in that week 3 game. Just go straight down the middle, and there he was. There was for a touchdown. He even did it against the Bills when he was here in Buffalo. So I think.
Oh, it wasn't a touchdown week 3, but it led to a touchdown.
Right.
Yeah.
But
oh man.
Jalen Waddle was definitely.
Don't bring me flashbacks of Jaquan Johnson playing deep safety. It is not pretty.
Or Damar Hamlin chasing him down.
That was bad.
Yeah. Love you.
All right, chill on Damar slander. He's
no, it was fun.
I'm kidding. Nah. Well, at least Damar's like what, safety 4 for us this year.
Yes,
I would say so. Yeah.
Take that as a good depth piece.
All right, so I guess we also didn't really do running backs after Stevenson. So if you guys, how would you? Not to jump back and forth, but I guess we'll just finish running backs right now. I had Hall number 2, number 3. I had Mostert. I don't know how you guys had it after. You probably had Stevenson number 2. I'd assume.
James Cook 3, and then I had Jeff Wilson 4.
Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, I had Jeff Wilson 4, James Cook 3. Yeah, that's how I had it for this year.
Would we have if we're gonna be ranking position rooms, like running back rooms in the division, how would you put it? Because it's easier to put individual players, but how would you rank the rooms?
I have the Jets having the best running back room in the AFC East. Just hold on, I see Ben there's completely disagreeing with me, but
their room is terrible. Their running back room outside of Breece Hall, it is atrocious. And Breece Hall is questionable with that ACL tear. Like it is so garbage. Bam Knight and Michael Carter, yeesh.
Michael Carter had 114 carries, 402 yards, 3 touchdowns.
114 carries and 402 yards. That's like less than 4 yards a carry.
It's 3.5.
Ben, you could have
I
the
mean,
argument.
that's still pretty good. I mean,
3.5 is
I
like
think
pretty
3.5
bad for a running back, Paul. Like
It's
anything over 4 is good. Like
below
if yeah.
average.
Ben, you could have the argument that the Bills might have the best run.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's only 2 rooms, and I think it's Bills and then maybe Miami because they got the speed. They got the rookie running back who's another home run threat. So I mean, and then if you look at what A-Chain did in 2021, like I'm not even going to deny it. Like he could potentially be a star. And we could have a problem with him in that offense. And they already have speed with Mostert and Wilson. So I think from a room, they have one of the better rooms if you go top 3. Not the best overall. I mean, I'm trying to think who the Patriots have now that they cut James Robinson.
They have Ramondre Stevenson, Pierre Strong Jr.
Yeah, I would just put him 4th by default. I mean,
4th, yeah.
Bam Knight was okay, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I listened to too many Jet spaces, but I feel like they're not too high in those other running backs outside of Brees, Paul. So I would put Bills, like Tommy said, maybe because I'm biased, but I think Harris might be better than any running back on Miami individually. If he's healthy, that's a huge caveat. Harris has to be healthy, but
You know who they have?
then you have who?
What were you gonna say, Jenna?
They have
Ty
Ramondre
Montgomery.
Stevenson.
Yeah, do you remember that radio thing, Tommy?
What is it?
The Boston radio clip of the guy screaming, Ty Montgomery.
Oh, yeah.
Ty Montgomery. That's like the funniest radio clip I've ever heard.
Junior Kevin Harris.
But you got to take into factor, what if Dalvin Cook comes in this division as well? You never know, like what team he could go to. That could put one of those teams over the
did
top.
New England drop a running back to bring in Cook possibly?
Well, I mean, they already have 4 running backs on their depth chart right now.
That's interesting.
But I'm trying to figure out who these guys are besides, Stevenson. So
give Cook money.
They don't really have anyone else except Stevenson on the roster that could actually be really.
I still like Latavius Murray too, as a Bills number 3. Sorry, what was that, Jenna?
They need to give Pierre Strong a chance. He was only a rookie last season.
I guess. But even after Strong, I mean, Montgomery is like a former wide receiver. Like,
yeah,
he's not really. I mean, I wouldn't not sign Dalvin Cook for Ty Montgomery. I guess
Dalvin Cook being in the division, not on the Bills. I think that would be a little bit tough for me if I was in his family, because you're playing against your brother 2 times a year.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That might be difficult. Like finding a family. I mean, that might be a little bit too emotional, but that's a little bit of a difficult family dynamic,
right?
Compared to him being on the Bills.
I would love him to be on the Bills, but I know not everyone is on that, viewpoint.
But apparently he wants more than $5 million a year.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be willing to do that.
I would structure something out for a year with, void years attached to it, plus, signing bonus. If he hits several incentives, maybe it's only a hit for like 3 to 4 as far as a cap hit. But if he performs and the Bills go far enough, he can earn up to $8 million. Like I would people like, oh, I wouldn't pay him $8 million, but I'm like, you're not paying him $8 million. It's kind of like OBJ, but it's definitely not like OBJ because it's still way less. Like, if it's only like a $3 or $4 million cap hit this year, and it's just like you give him some, incentives, and if he hits them, it's like that's something you want. It's kind of like Leonard Floyd, like. People like, oh, Leonard Floyd's gonna make crazy money, $9 million, but that's only if he gets 12 sacks this year. And then if you get 12 sacks out of Leonard Floyd, $9 million is definitely worth it. So, so it's to me, that's kind of like how I view it.
I agree.
I guess you kind of do a similar thing with D-Hop, but obviously it would have to be more because he would want a lot more. But I guess that kind of wraps. Oh, what's that, Jenna?
According to Dove Kleiman, and Bro Bible,
Is
some
it Dove or
executives.
Dob?
Is it Dove?
What was that?
Dove.
I have
Dove
no
Kleiman.
idea. I was
I
just
don't know.
asking.
I blocked him because I only blocked him because sometimes the things he puts out are just not like super credible. And
What is his report?
what was that? Oh, you want to hear his report?
Yeah.
He says that according to some executives in the NFL, they project that DeAndre Hopkins will be making about 8 to 10 million per year. And then another executive said that if it were in March, then he would give him 18 mil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did see that. That is interesting.
Yeah. But like I said, Dove Kleiman, he copies a lot of things from Ian Rappaport and Ari.
Yeah.
Other reporters.
Right.
So
he's just basically a professional retweeter, except he acts like he's the source or whatever, but he just steals other people's stuff. But I guess I feel like that kind of wraps up running backs, right? As feel as rankings, because we kind of after Stevenson. I mean, you guys have Cook, which I probably think Cook is better, but I just have to see the production on paper and him get those numbers that I think he can. And honestly, he could even go as high as 1 to me, because I think Cook is very talented, but I guess he just really has to produce overall. But speaking of D-Hop, I mean, I guess it's kind of a good transition. I mean, to just go back to the wide receiver room. We ended talking about wide receivers rankings. So after Waddle, I mean, I think we all probably can agree that Wilson's the 4th best in the division.
I got Wilson 4.
Wilson 4?
And
all right.
I got Gabe Davis 5.
All right. I got Davis 5 as well. Anyone else?
All right. You want to hear number 6?
Jenna, Paul, who do you got at 5? I'm just seeing if they agree.
5? Yeah, Gabe Davis is fine.
Yeah, I would say Gabe Davis would definitely be 5. I mean, I think that's a fluid list.
So check out number 6, and I got Shakir at 6.
Ooh, wow, that is.
I think
you're getting spicy, Tommy.
I think I might put
I feel like he's gonna get a lot of.
Fair to the Patriots. You might want to put Juju.
Oh, Juju, yeah.
Just to be fair to the Patriots.
Be fair to the Patriots. I mean, what has Juju done in the last few years to put him at 6?
I had Juju at 7.
You're right. I mean, playing with Patrick Mahomes, of course he was able to contribute as the number 1 receiver. But
8.
Yeah.
Lazard 8. On Lazard at 8. I had.
Hold on a second. I have to take a phone call real quick.
Okay.
All right, you're good, Jenna.
Yeah, I had Alan Lazard at 8. Paul and Ben. I don't know what you thought about that.
I mean, Lazard. I mean, you had Lazard at 7. You said.
I had Lazard at 8.
Lazard at 8. In my mind, if Lazard, stays healthy, I think he could be within the. I think you can bump him up maybe a spot or 2 if he can stay healthy, because.
So who was 7th, Tommy?
7th I had was Juju.
Oh.
I had Juju 7.
Okay. Let me go back to mine. Okay, so 6 is Juju for me, actually. I think Juju's better than Shakir right now.
Okay, all right.
Then I got Lazard 7, Parker 8, and Davis 9. Corey Davis 9.
Okay. The only other guy I had was I think I had at 9. I had Deontay Harris.
What team does he play on?
Wait. The guy we signed. What's his name? Harris.
Oh, Hardy.
Hardy
Okay,
Harris.
I got you.
Hardy. My
I
bad.
got
Yeah,
you.
he went.
Yeah, you're good. I was for some reason I think of a different Deontay when you said that. All right, Deontay Hardy. That's a good pick. So next tight ends.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like we got the best room. Second best room, probably the Patriots.
Yeah, I had Patriots.
Then I think the Jets, but I mean the other teams' tight ends are kind of terrible. I mean, I have Knox as the best, and then Hunter Henry is the second. I don't know about how you guys had it.
Gesicki number 2.
Gesicki number 2 over Henry.
I had Gesicki over Henry. Yep.
Okay, I got Henry just because Gesicki cannot block to save his life. So to be a tight end, I feel like you kind of got to be able to actually play tight end and not just be kind of a glorified slot receiver. So
I get it.
So that's why I would have Henry over Gesicki. And I actually was we got Jenna back. Jenna.
Yeah.
Who's your tight ends?
My tight ends? Like tight end 1?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with Dawson Knox.
All right. And who's your tight end 2?
My tight end 2. Who are Miami's tight ends?
Durham Smythe.
No. Jets. Tyler Croft.
Uzomah.
Uzomah.
Actually, Tyler Croft is on Miami. Now that you mentioned it, I forgot he's on Miami now.
Really? Oh
yeah, but Uzomah, Conklin, Rucker, and Kuntz are the Jets tight ends.
Kuntz. Tight end 2.
You want to change Jenna, who the Patriots tight ends are?
Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith?
No, Hunter Henry.
No, Gesicki.
Oh.
They got Hunter Henry, Mike.
Where did Jonnu Smith go?
He went to
Atlanta, yeah.
Atlanta.
Oh.
So they have Gesicki and Hunter Henry.
Oh, I remember that. Are we talking like pure tight end?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, then Gesicki is not
very
high. No, I'm not high on Gesicki.
They had him as Tommy has him as his 2. I'm like, Tommy, he's a receiver, but
yeah.
I mean, it's Tommy's rankings.
Playmaking, that's what I was, going for.
I think I might have to go Hunter Henry.
That's what I got.
But I think by the end of the season, it's going to be Dalton Kincaid.
Ooh, what if he's number 1 by the end of the season?
I wouldn't be opposed to that. Dalton Kincaid.
I wouldn't either. I mean, I very closely had him as tight end 3 already. I'll just, since he's a rookie, I actually don't have.
There's a huge drop off.
Well, I have a couple rookies on here, but I actually only have like one other rookie, and that's not a positional rookie. It's not a skill position. Sorry, but yeah, there's kind of a drop off. I mean, I just went Jets just to kind of give them a participation trophy after Hunter Henry, but you're right. It is a pretty significant drop off. Like Conklin and Uzomah are pretty average. Like I would personally take Kincaid over them. I think he'll be there at the end of the season, but I just think for posterity's sake, I didn't really include as many rookies.
Yeah. After, I mean, you can really say after, if you're talking pure tight ends after Knox and Henry, there's really no other, you could say decent pure tight ends. I mean,
I feel like there's not a lot of great tight ends outside of the top, and the rest are just like body. So I feel like, rooms, I guess we didn't really, since you were, on the call, Jenna, we can also go back and do the receiver rooms because, I mean, we wrapped up receivers, but if I was to do tight ends, I would do Buffalo, New England, the Jets, and Miami for rooms.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would agree.
Miami is not they're very deficient at tight end right now. They've drafted a receiver to essentially play their tight end.
Yeah,
and then his name,
and then for receivers, I would probably go Miami, Buffalo, Jets, and New England.
I agree.
Yeah, that's exactly how I have it.
All right, perfect. So we're almost on the same page for
Yeah.
like everything.
But the receivers could change if we get
But
D-Hop.
running backs, Paul's got the Jets running back room at the front. Me and Tommy got
Yeah.
the Bills.
But
I'm gonna.
I said if we end up getting D-Hop, I'm gonna have to put the Bills at 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Me too.
Absolutely. I'm
Um,
gonna, for running back room, I think I will say Bills, just because of the depth that we have. We
Yeah.
are extremely
Like
deep at running back now.
so I guess since we broke off, you know, the receivers and running backs. I guess for the line, we'll separate it by tackles and you know, interior.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, and maybe center. We'll do like well, center is included in interior because you don't have like no one has like 3 centers. They're kind of, you know, so
I had 4 centers.
right. I mean, so my top tackle, and I'm probably being biased, but I have 2. I'll guess because I kind of did a starting lineup, so I'll have 2, and I'll do left and right. I have Dion and Armstead as my top tackles.
That's my 2 tackles. You got it. I mean, you think
Yeah, I agree.
What about
I
you,
would
Paul?
agree. I would
Okay,
agree. I
I'll-
mean,
All right,
we're
so that's pretty easy. I guess if we'll stick with tackles, I mean, after that, I got Trent Brown as my second best.
that's mine too. I had him.
Riley Reef is my second best right tackle.
Yeah, that was my next one.
There's not very much.
And I had
Tommy, did you
Spencer
just copy and paste
Dave
Ben's
Brown.
list
Yeah,
onto yours?
Spencer Brown is my third as well, Tony.
Okay, wait.
So,
Do you have another one? I had Max Mitchell after that.
Hey, how about
Bro,
we
he
throw on
would
Brandon
kinda-
Show?
yeah, let's do it. I mean, I only did 3, but Max Mitchell would be the 4th if I did a 4th.
And then my last one, I had Billy Turner. That was my last.
I included Dwayne Brown as a left tackle. I don't know if you did.
Yeah, I just put Billy Turner. That was
It's not pretty.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, and then Miami, like outside of Armstead, like is Austin Jackson their right tackle or sorry, left tackle?
right. You don't know. You don't know which
Yeah.
one.
Pretty bad.
Interior.
Okay, interior now. Yep.
I mean, Sean McVay made fun of this pick, but it turned out it wasn't a terrible
No.
pick. I got Cole Strange as the number 1 left guard.
Okay.
This is just, you know, strictly left side.
So the one I wrote down first was Connor McGovern.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I would take Connor McGovern because with the Jets last year, he was actually a really good guy.
He
was
wasn't
actually
with the
one
Jets.
of their
No,
best.
he was on. Oh wait, are you talking about the
Wait,
Connor?
which Connor
We
McGovern
got
are we
2 Connor
talking about?
McGovern, the Jets or the
Ah.
Bills?
Because doesn't the other Connor McGovern play center for the Jets?
Yes. Yes.
You're right.
With our
Okay, so
guard.
we're not.
Which
we're-
Connor McGovern are you talking about, Paul?
I'm talking about.
I was talking about the wrong Connor McGovern. Yeah,
He was on the Cowboys.
Yep.
Yes.
That's the guy. Never
Yeah, I
mind.
got
Wrong
McGovern.
Connor McGovern.
our Connor McGovern number 1.
As the best guard in the division, though, I don't know about that. He wasn't even a starter on Dallas. That's why I went Cole Strange, just because, like, I feel like he's a he at least started last year as a first round pick.
Yeah.
But I mean, McGovern's not a bad pick. Also, center, I did Mitch Morse.
That's my number 1 center. That's
What about David Andrews?
He's my number 2. I have him as number 2.
my 2.
That's fair. Yeah.
And then I had Connor Williams 3 and
Yep.
Connor McGovern 4.
Yep, same exact list, Tommy. Oh man, it's scary. And I didn't even share my list with you too, which is the craziest part. All right, who's your number 1 right guard?
Right guard.
I got Elijah Vera Tucker.
I forget who.
He's coming off a pec injury, right?
No, I think he just had a tricep injury.
Whatever one of those muscles are.
Damn. Play right guard. Get left guard.
Oh, I thought you said back, Jenna. My bad. You said pec. Sorry. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Tricep, pec, similar. Yeah.
Kind of.
Etchenberg. I had him number 2.
Eichenberg. He's like number 9 for me
Miami
personally,
fans hate
Tommy.
him.
Yeah.
He's like.
I had Strange and I had AVT as my top ones. I mean,
I had a top. Yeah. I had him like 3.
you have him at 3.
Yeah. Torrance is going to play. Is he going to play left side or right side?
Right side,
We
I
don't
think.
really-
He's right, but they're working on
I
anything.
have Torrance as my number 2 right guard because I separated right and
Yeah.
left. So like he's behind AVT. Mike Onwenu is my number 3. And then Ryan Bates. I know you guys probably don't even have him. I put him over McGovern just because we don't know if McGovern is going to start. I do know Bates has started at guard before and he's been solid. So I'm just going based off of what we know.
Right.
Sorry, I keep yawning. I'm tired.
You
I
want
was
to
up till like one this week.
you want to rank the O line as a group, like as who has the best?
Lakin Tomlinson, Connor Williams. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that kind of rounds it out. Spencer Brown. Best starting O line, I would say, would be the Patriots. I think it's the Patriots.
Yeah.
I would say so too.
Jets, then Dolphins.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing: if the Dolphins had 3 halfway decent starters, they could actually have the best offensive line in the division, probably by a decent margin. That's how good Armstead and even Williams is as a center. But the problem is the rest of their offensive line is just so disastrous, and the depth isn't that much better. Bringing in Isaiah Wynn, I think the highest they drafted a guy was like in the 6th or 7th round. So like they didn't really do a lot to address it. I know like the Jets, Billy Turner, some of the other guys they signed, that's kind of slipping my mind. They're not amazing, but they also drafted Warren McClellan, and I think it's McClellan or whatever his name is. Or no, sorry, Carter Warren. I don't know why I said Warren McClellan, but they drafted a tackle. I botched the name.
Pittman.
Yeah, and Tippmann as well. So they drafted a tackle in the 4th round and their starting center in the 2nd round. So they at least addressed it. New England didn't really need to. I mean, they had a couple of depth draft picks, but I mean they still have Brown, Andrews, and Reef and Strange, who I have on my list. So it's still pretty solid.
Yeah, I would agree with the Patriots being the best starting offensive line. The Dolphins are definitely the worst offensive line. They literally had all 3 of their quarterbacks last year running for their life. I mean, Tua was literally pressured 20% of his snaps last year. So all their quarterbacks were running for their life, and they didn't even address it this offseason, which makes me scared for Tua again this season.
Well, they did. They brought in Dan Feeney and Isaiah Wynn. Those are huge acquisitions.
Oh yeah, future Hall of Famer.
Sure, I hope they help get that pressure rate down a little bit. But I have actually the Bills at number 2 just because of all the investment they made and all the depth pieces they have on the roster. That's what I took into account.
I feel like the Bills could even be number 1, at the end of the season, depending on how things shakes out. And, if Brown and even Dawkins, because I feel like Dawkins had a down year. I mean, he was so good, but if he gets back to the old snowman, if Brown, takes that step, if Torrance, is who we think he's going to be, we could have a really good offensive line if we're being honest. And we just need it to be average, but the potential is there.
Yeah. Isn't that something that for the first time in a long time we can say that the Bills have brought in meaningful investments in the offensive line?
Yeah, no, that is kind of crazy. So,
to give Josh time.
I feel like we got the best depth in the O-line just looking at everything. So, as far as overall room, maybe not starting offensive line, but when you look at the Bates, the Edwards, the Doyles, the Brokers, we got a lot of depth compared to years past. And we have some guys who could probably start on other teams. What's that, Tommy?
There's going to be some tough cuts on the O-line.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's going to be so many tough cuts on that offensive line.
Hopefully our guy Alec Anderson, can make the 53.
100%.
He's another guy, we got in the mix.
Yeah, we got a lot of depth.
What's up, Josh?
Hey, Josh Meowen has made an appearance.
All
right. So I think we're going to move on to defense.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you guys like my
Oh wait, what's that?
That's cool.
My skeleton model, because I am taking kinesiology.
Oh,
I want
nice.
to become an athletic trainer, so I have to become familiar with
That's
the
awesome.
bones.
Nice. That is awesome.
This is Stanley.
You want to start with corners?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's do corners. I had
Okay.
one.
Yeah, I got Sauce in my number 1 right now too.
Yep. Okay, number 2, I had Trey White.
Wait. We didn't go around. You guys got?
Sorry.
All right, you guys agree? No, you're good.
Sauce Gardner. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I think in my mind, Sauce Gardner after 1 season is definitely way better than what you could say like Jalen Ramsey right now.
All right, continue, Tommy.
At Trey White too.
You could. I
think-
unfortunately don't. I'm sorry. You guys are gonna hate me.
If he comes back to form, yes.
Yes, if he
But
comes back to
does.
form, that's true.
At this point, no.
I got
Yeah, I
Ramsey
would
as
agree.
number
Yeah,
2.
no.
That's who I have on my rankings. Jalen Ramsey. You guys are going to disagree because of how much Diggs cooked him, but if you look at the advanced metrics and stats, outside of that game, he didn't play too bad last year. And when he tries and actually wants to play good, Jalen Ramsey is still one of the best defensive players in the league. I just feel like with him, a lot of it is just effort. He doesn't try a lot. And not only that, Diggs just owns him. But I mean, there's some corners. I mean, it's the same thing kind of with Revis and Johnson. Stevie always owned Revis. Some receivers, just have their way with certain corners. And I don't really feel like there's a corner who can really stay with Diggs anyways. But
100%.
Yeah, I mean, you could. Jalen Ramsey can also have the argument. You can obviously flip Ramsey to 1. He has an argument for that, and then you
yeah,
can
that's another
flip
good point,
Sauce Gardner
Paul.
down to 2.
Yeah.
But right now, Sauce Gardner just after 1 season was wonderful, and I think he's just going to continue going
Now,
forward.
but I will
Going
say
forward.
this, Paul. You see some players hit rookie walls, and you see some guys, or not rookie walls. You see some guys regress after strong rookie seasons, and just everything, Sauce has said, and all the hype this guy gets, and maybe it's because he's a Jets player, and I don't personally love to see players fail, but and I mean, I guess I'll take that back. I do enjoy a certain extent of Jets players getting exposed. I don't want anyone not to succeed. I don't purposely root for people's failures. I know some fans are like that, but just, you kind of look at how Sauce carries himself. He's kind of putting himself out there for some teams to really go after him next season. So, I mean, I just feel like he does have the potential to take a step back. I'm not saying he will, but I mean, you have such a great rookie year. Go ahead and do it again. I mean, now that all these teams see him talking, he says he wants to be MVP. I mean, he's rated the number 1 corner after 1 year by PFF. I mean, I feel like he's kind of I feel like there's going to be some teams who might go after him next year. And the Jets are playing way better quarterbacks than they played last year, just going off of their schedule. So,
Yep.
I mean, he could regress just based off of that aspect, not even, just off of, the fact that he had an otherworldly rookie season, which I guess, now that I mention it, could have been attributed to poor quarterback play from the opposing teams. I mean, they played 8 or 9 backup quarterbacks,
Right.
when it came down to it, because they didn't play Tua once last year. The Jets did. We played Tua twice in the regular season, and both times the Jets faced the Dolphins, it was without Tua. So, I mean, that's why you almost look at could Sauce's rookie numbers been a little skewed. So, I mean, that is one thing I guess for consideration is there is a potential Sauce could regress.
Yeah. And he is very handsy too.
Yes. And what
100%.
happens if
Sauce
they start
grab-
calling those?
Yeah, they could. You're right, Ben. Correct.
Yeah. Oh, I'll still stand by it that throw to Davis that Josh made in the Jets game. Sauce was all over him.
Oh, 100%. That was a legal
100%.
contact PI. I'm still salty about it, and I will be.
I think we all have a right to be
throw.
salty about it.
Right. But how about as defensive, not defensive back, cornerback rooms? How would you rank it?
Cornerback.
Are you so? I guess starting, I would, if you do starting duos, I would have it as I would go Jets, Dolphins, Bills, Patriots, just based off of duos, not like overall rooms and depth charts. I mean, if you do starting trios, which then you include your nickel corner, which we got one of the best nickel corners in the league, we have a conversation to be up at number 1 if you count trios, or even 4, because we also have Benford. But I mean, that being said, Kader Kohu had a very strong rookie season. He's not gonna. I mean, they'll probably play him in the nickel next season. So I mean, he's a solid nickel option for Miami. But I guess rooms, I still think our depth is probably better when you account Dane Jackson, who was our number 2 at one point, might end up being like corner
Number 5
on the depth chart. Yep. I mean, then the Dantzler signing is intriguing to me, at least. That's a player we picked up this year, former 3rd round pick from Mississippi State, Cameron Dantzler. Minnesota drafted him from Mississippi State, and if you go back and watch his college tape, he shut down Jamar Chase during that great season by LSU in 2019. So I mean, maybe the Bills have something there. I mean, I know he hasn't really done a lot recently, but I mean, he's still only 24, 25. So
Turn him into
I mean,
something.
he's a prospect. We've seen, I mean, just go and look at what McDermott did with Hyde and Poyer. I mean, both those guys were journeyman players who didn't really have a home, and I mean, McDermott was able to get something out of them. So I mean, and then Alex Austin, our rookie 7th round pick. So I mean, I feel like as far as a room, we definitely, I feel like, would probably have the best. I would probably even put New England number 2 overall. Then I'd probably go Miami because I like the Cam Smith pick. They still have Kader Kohu, Xavier Howard, and Ramsey. I think the Jets are really good at the top, but I also question if a guy like DJ Reed, who's been a journeyman his whole career, can go back and have a repeat all-pro type season that he did last year and just be completely locked down. I've seen a bunch of corners like him. I mean, you remember EJ Gaines? I mean, he kind of had a similar year to DJ Reed back in 2017, and he just kind of completely fell off, the face of the earth. So certain corners, there'll be every once in a while a journeyman free agent will have, this great season. The real question is, can he repeat it? I mean, I think for duo wise, just based off last year, I'd give the Jets it. But after that top 2, like, I know they have Carter, who's another slot guy, but like, I don't think they have a ton of depth there. And then if they lose one of those top guys like Reed or Sauce, they could be in trouble.
Right. I agree.
I like the Patriots too, honestly, with Jack Jones, Jonathan Jones, Marcus Jones, Christian Gonzalez. Like, very underrated.
Jalen Mills.
Isn't he a safety, or is he a
He's
corner?
a safety.
Oh, he's safety. Okay.
But in my mind, going through it all, I think other than Sauce Gardner, I don't think the Jets have any really solid number.
I mean, I have DJ Reed as my number 4 in the division right now.
Okay.
I don't know about you, Tommy.
I had Kyer Elam number 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to me, because the Jets really didn't have anyone really, to me personally, have anyone outside of Sauce Gardner to cover wide receivers.
What about Reed though? DJ Reed.
He's all right.
He was shut down last year. I think he was top 10 in PFF ratings, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I mean, DJ Reed was really good last year. Yeah, he's probably like the best number 2 in the league right now, just based off last year. I mean, I have him as my number 4. I got Trey White over him. And then I got Oh wait, actually, yeah. Wait, yeah. I do have him over here. Then I have Howard after that, but I don't know. I feel like this is probably the toughest position group to really rank or order it up because I feel like all of our teams like have really solid corner rooms. I think when we go to edges too, it's going to be similar.
Right.
Like, I mean, you look at the quarterbacks, but like honestly, and I think. Yeah. Mita Kimes did make a prediction. She predicted that all 4 AFC East teams would have a top 10 defense. And I mean, I just look at these rosters and even like the coaching staffs and everything. Like, the more I look at it, like that is very highly possible that all 4 of these teams, end with a top 10 defense in some kind of category.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's spot on. To be
Just-
honest, as much as we want to clown the Patriots at being at bottom of the division, they are going to have a pretty hard-nosed defense.
They might have the best division or
Yeah,
division
and
defense in the division. That's what I was going to say. You
haven't
know what I
even
meant.
talked about Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Either.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Christian Gonzalez.
Their
Yeah.
rookie first-round pick. I mean, it was mentioned was just in passing, and then you had Jonathan Jones, who was really good last year. Marcus Jones, who can like play any position in football. It seems like Jack Jones.
So many fucking
I mean,
Jones.
it's kind of like how we had all those. They're the Joneses. We had all the Williams at one point. Back in the day, I kind of missed that when we had Mario, Kyle. Carlos. I'm trying to think what were the other Williams.
Oh,
We have
man, there were so
Dorian.
many.
Dorian is carrying on the the lineage of Williams in
Shout out
Buffalo.
to
So
Duke.
that's good. Yeah. Duke Williams as well.
Yeah. Duke
Yeah.
Williams.
The legend of Duke Williams.
Mike
The
Williams.
legend of Duke
Antonio
Williams.
Williams.
I mean, didn't we actually have 2 Duke Williams? The receiver and the safety?
Yeah, we did.
Never forget
Yes.
that Duke Williams is safety
Yeah.
from Nevada. And then we had that guy who couldn't catch anything, but he was just really big.
Yeah.
And he was starting in that playoff game versus the Texans. And yeah, that was ugly.
Yep.
Remember when Andre Roberts subbed in versus the Titans in 2020? No, was it 2020?
Yeah,
think so.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that was
Rough.
bad. That was really bad.
Safeties, I feel like are going to be easier to rank. I'm going to seem really biased, but I got Poyer and Hyde as the best
It's not biased. I think
strong
they're
safety and free safety.
Yeah,
It's
they're- I
not
think-
biased whatsoever.
they're the undisputed best in the league.
I want to see what y'all have at number 3.
I mean, I feel like they got the hardware, they have everything. The only thing I feel like you can give some concessions to age and injury. So those are 2 things to keep into consideration, but I think they're still the best right now. I got Javon Holland and Kyle Duggar as my
Yeah.
3 and 4.
Yep, that's my top.
Yeah.
All right, let's go, Tommy.
That's all I had listed. Those are my top.
I mean, those are really the only ones worth listing. I mean, you could also go to Sean Elliott or Jabril Peppers. The Jets just have box safeties. They're going to try to play at free safety. So it's going to be interesting to see if that could potentially work for them. I'm not sure it is going to, but I mean, hopefully we can unlock some of Hardy's speed.
Right.
Oh, 100%.
All right. We going to linebackers?
Let's go to linebackers.
I had Milano 1.
Yeah, I got Milano 1. I got Mosley at 2, and I got David Long Jr. as my number 3.
Okay, so that's where I mixed it up. So I had Milano, Mosley, Baker, then Long.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Long and Baker probably because I think Baker's my number 4. So, I mean, those guys are they're like interchangeable.
Yeah, they are. They are.
And I think they play the exact same role in like the Miami defense too, because Fangio plays a 3-4. So
Right. Yep,
they just
those-
basically got the same responsibilities.
Linebacker.
I mean, the Patriots linebacker room is looking kind of rough to me as far as like off-ball inside linebackers go. I mean, obviously what they got an outside linebacker and edge, but if you're just talking about regular linebacker, I mean, I haven't even heard of those guys. Like I'm not even fronting. Like Like, yeah, like I know,
Mhm.
and it's crazy because the Patriots, I mean, they're known for great linebacker play, really,
Right.
right? With Bill Belichick. I mean, they had Teddy Bruschi, Mike Vrabel. I mean, of course, Rob Ninkovich, and then for so long they had, oh my gosh, the other Alabama linebacker, not C.J. Mosley. Shoot. He won all those Super Bowls. Deontay Hightower, right? Yeah, they had Deontay Hightower. I mean, Jamie Collins, the guy who Josh Allen stiff armed into the ground, when he played on Miami. His name is slipping my mind, but like it's crazy because New England's always had great linebacker play under Bill Belichick, and right now they just have like the most average linebackers ever. I mean, who knows? Maybe they got like some diamonds in the rough. Their scheme isn't as linebacker dependent as it once was, but they just have some guys. I mean, the Jets. Mosley is good. He's just kind of unathletic in coverage. Quincy Williams can't really cover. He's probably what Bernard will be once Bernard, sees the field, like a smaller blitzing linebacker.
They should have re-signed Quan Alexander. That's what they should have did.
But Quan Alexander is kind of like that too, though. I mean, he's a smaller blitzing linebacker as well. So they don't really have someone who could cover anyone sideline to sideline. I mean, I mean, honestly, Dorian within the year could ascend to be one of the best linebackers in the division because of his coverage ability. Like, with the tight ends we play, I feel like, Dorian might see a lot of snaps.
That was the thing that they liked too about his coverage. It's something like really it's kind of coverage.
I mean, starting wise, I think you could say maybe the Jets have better starters than us overall, because we're questioning who number 2 is, maybe even Miami. But when you include depth, we got 2 former 3rd-round picks, another draft pick invested last year, Matt Milano, Dodson, Klein. I feel like we got the best room, top to bottom. We have the best linebacker room. Maybe not the best starters, but I like our room the best.
I do too.
What about you, Jenna? Are you still nervous about Williams and Bernard?
I'm the Dorian Williams truther.
I mean, I'm joining, the following two. Like, he's gonna be good, I feel like.
Yeah.
And honestly, I hate to admit it, but I kind of am a fan of Bernard, and I feel like he's a guy that could actually have, I'm not going to say a breakout year, but he might have a couple plays. And I feel like for him, the plays he makes are like impact plays, like, strip fumble or like an interception, a big sack. Like, I feel like he's a guy we can't take out of the equation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I think everybody's getting down on him too soon.
100%.
We're just gonna have to see how he plays out. We don't know if he's gonna be the number 2.
Yeah, I mean, he might honestly just kind of be almost just like a blitzing linebacker, coming in different packages. But I feel like just even when you include Leonard Floyd, Poona Ford, Daquan, Taylor Rapp, Christian Benford, Teron Johnson. Like, there's so many guys who are probably going to see like anywhere from like 25 to 30%, maybe even 40% of the snaps, but they aren't going to get above 50% just because of, I feel like you're just going to get a lot of different personnel packages and a lot of different sub packages. Like, that's something we've seen in glimpses, but I feel like we never really had the personnel to really run a bunch of different looks. And now you can run 3 safeties effectively. Like, you could do like NASCAR packages. I mean, you could probably throw in an extra linebacker at times. Like, you can put some meat on the defensive line. Like, we could pretty much almost run a full 3-4 basically, because I mean, Vaughn's natural position is more or less a stand-up outside linebacker, and that's what Leonard Floyd was playing on the Rams as well. And then you could just put Daquan or Poona as the one technique, and then on the opposite side you throw in Ed Oliver as a stand-up defensive end, and then you put up Greg Rousseau on the other side. So, I mean, if you want to run a 3-4, you could run a 3-4. If you want to run a 4-3, you could run a 4-3. Like, I feel like there's some versatility. I mean, I feel like we're transitioning to the defensive ends now because we already talked about linebackers. But I got Von Miller as my number one defensive end. That might be a little bit biased. I think he's the best. He's got the hardware to prove it. And then Judon's number 2. But I mean, that's kind of you got 2 starters. So
that's what I had Judon too as well. Yep.
And you're in agreement, Paul?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
What about 3 and 4?
Okay, 3, I had Jalen Phillips. 4, I had Greg Rousseau.
Tommy, that's exactly how I had it as well. I had Miller and Judon. I had Phillips and Rousseau. Like, it's scary.
Yeah. Cool. I like it.
Jenna,
is either Tommy copy and
you?
pasted your list or just you just guys think alike?
We're on edges now.
Yeah. Do you actually want to hear a fun fact about Jalen Phillips? I love Jalen Phillips, and I think that he is definitely on the top 5 edge rusher in the division.
Okay.
But what's really interesting is that Jalen Phillips had about 7.5 sacks in 840 snaps. AJ Epinesa had 6.5 sacks and 370 snaps.
Wait, this is last year?
Mm-hmm.
So he had one less snap in about a third of the snaps. Or wait, one less sack in a third of the snaps, or roughly like half of them. That is crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
I just came across it on my Twitter timeline. According to Uber Hansen, he says that Jalen Phillips had 7 sacks last season in 840 snaps. For context, Bills' backup AJ Epinesa had 6.5 sacks in 375 snaps.
Wow. Okay.
What the hell?
I mean, I had a guy, and I'm not going to say who, but a pretty notable Bills account, trying to say earlier that we should trade Basham and Epinesa for Daniil Hunter. I'm like, he wants a new contract, and like, I mean, you can only play 2 edges at once to begin with, but I mean, I think Groot is good, and like Epinesa, like he was good for the time he played last year. Like,
hearing that stat gives me more appreciation for him.
Man, like,
yeah.
We should have played him twice the snaps. He would have had like freaking 15 sacks. Jeez.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
unreal. I'm excited for his development.
If he can turn it on, I already know Rousseau is showing up. I mean, then you have Floyd and Miller too. Like, this defensive line is going to be scary. Ooh. And like, you even heard what Oliver said in his press conference. Like, he wants to prove everyone wrong and show that, he earned this contract, and he wants to make it seem like he's underpaid. So I really hope Ed Oliver goes out and does that this year. And I mean, we have Daquan Jones too. I mean, even Tim Settle, from what I heard, was dealing with some injuries earlier in the year. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt, but that's even if he makes a roster, because like, I mean, Jordan Phillips is there too. But I guess not to get, sidetracked with Bill's depth chart, roster cuts. That's how I got my my edges outside of Judon and Miller. I got Phillips and Groot, and I think Groot's gonna have a huge third year. After that, I got Uche and JFM, and that's the rest of my list.
Yeah, after Russo, I had Floyd and Carl Lawson.
Not bad. Yeah, that's about right.
I mean, Carl Lawson definitely has an argument.
You could also say Chubb if you're a Dolphins fan. I'm not going to agree, but I feel like you have an argument. It's not a very good one. But I like Uche. I think JFM was pretty good. Franklin Myers, actually, or not, how do you say Franklin Myers? Jermaine Johnson, actually, too, could be something. Remember that chase down sack he had against Allen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
had a promising college career, too.
All these teams actually have a lot of depth. Like the Patriots have they drafted Keon White in the second round to go with Uche and Judon. I mean, the Jets, of course. I mean, Lawson and JFM aren't amazing. They drafted Johnson in the first round. They added another first-round draft pick this year and Will McDonald. We have a bunch of guys signed Floyd. Like, there's so many really good edges in this division, in my opinion. I'd say we have the best starting duo when healthy. Actually, I retract that. So actually, I retract that again. I think us in New England are like even. I would say tied. Like Uche and Uche and Judon and Miller and Groot, I feel like are pretty as even as you can get for pass rushing duos. Like, I feel like those are actually two of the best pass rushing duos in the league, if we're being honest with you. And I think,
though we might have more.
Don't quote me on this. They came out with the rankings of like teams with multiple edges in the top 32. I think the Bills and Patriots were the only two in our division to have multiple edges in the top 32 from PFF. I think that was from yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I could, retweet it, but I think, so I think that backs up what I was, what I just said about these being two of the best, edge duos in the league. I mean, I think there's an argument for Miller, Groot, just because Groot's ascending. Miller is still good, but I mean, he's, I guess, hurt. So that, I guess, is the one, the one negative about the Bills duo. I mean, the Patriots duo, Judon, oh my gosh, I feel like that guy is just otherworldly. And I mean, Uche was very good as well. I mean, the Jets and Dolphins, their duos aren't terrible. I mean, they're good duos, but I just feel like it's, compared to the Bills and Patriots, they aren't as good.
They're not as good.
Yeah, I would agree.
And adding Leonard Floyd too.
Yeah, Leonard Floyd. Oh man, sheesh. So
D-line now, right? We're on D-line.
Yeah, we're going D tackle, right? I feel like we're all pretty much in agreement, right? Bills or Pats, and then it's Jets, Dolphins for defensive ends, edges.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's about right. Defensive tackle, my number one, and I'll go number two because kind of like defensive ends is kind of like a tandem type thing. I got Williams and Wilkins as my top two.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I had. Yep, Quinn
Williams, Wilkins.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty.
I even want to throw in Daquan Jones.
Yeah, Daquan Jones. Yeah,
Daquan Jones is my third, and Christian Barmore was my fourth.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would say that was fair. Yeah.
I mean, if you're ranking the best defensive tackles by the team, that's perfect.
And then rooms. I mean, it's kind of funny because as good as Quentin Williams is, the Jets probably, quite honestly, have the worst defensive tackle room in the division by quite some margin. Like Al Woods, who's about to hit 40, Quentin Jefferson, who was, with the Bills and was, a disaster a couple years ago. I mean, Miami's got they got Wilkins. They got, I think, Raekwon Davis as well. I mean, they got a couple other guys.
Zach Sealer.
Thank you. Zach Sealer's the other guy I was thinking of.
He caused the fumble.
Don't remind me. But yeah, so I mean, they have another guy outside of Wilkins, and I mean, the Patriots have Guy and Barmore. I feel like that's good enough to get them as the third best room.
Mm-hmm.
I think we probably have the best depth when you consider, Jones, Phillips, Oliver, Ford. Like, I think if you're counting four defensive tackle, even Settle. I mean, I don't think any of them can go five deep defensive tackle. We can go five deep defensive tackle.
Totally, we could.
That's kind of crazy, actually.
When was the last time we had really good defensive tackle depth?
I don't know.
Ago.
Maybe 2015 when we had, 2014 when we had Darius and Kyle Williams, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
Back when we had the cold front, Ben.
Yeah. So we got I guess a couple more we could throw in. I have Ed Oliver and Lawrence Guy to wrap up the rest of my defensive tackle rankings.
Ed Oliver, Ford, that's what I had my last.
Nice. I like that. And then for special teams, I included this. I don't know if you guys did. I got Martin and Bass as my best kicker and punter. That might be a little biased, but
No.
I don't think that's biased.
I think stats would back that up too, actually. And then for my kicker, I got Jason Sanders is the second best. I have Bailey, who was New England's punter last year. He now went over to Miami. I have him as the second best punter. And then I have Zerline and Morstead as the third. So, I mean, like special teams.
Yeah, you can't really. It's hard to,
Yeah, there's no like player like rankings for special teams, but I mean, I guess
just go based off like their
based off the eye test,
right,
punt average, field goal percentage, longest field goal. I mean, Bass was pretty much automatic last year and pretty consistent. So,
right.
I mean, if you really look at it though, like, I mean, I feel like we're about as good as like any of these teams. Like, as far as our positions, like, I mean, maybe running back, receiver, I don't know, offensive tackle, like, those other teams have us, but like, shoot, cornerback, safety, I mean, maybe not linebacker, but defensive line, like, we're up there, as being the best or near the best. Like, I mean, I still feel like this Bills roster is very, very good. Like, and don't get me wrong, some of these other teams are good as well, but we have the consistency, we have the star quarterback, and I think our players, our better players, are good at the more important positions.
I agree.
So I think that's what gives us the edge, and we also have the experience.
Yes, we do.
Exactly. The playoff experience, most importantly.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So
I think that's some of the best depth.
That was a pretty, in-depth ranking, I feel like. I mean, we went an hour and a half. Our last shows actually haven't been that long. So I feel like just with mini camp coming up, what are you guys looking forward to, as far as storylines for mini camp? I know it's only a couple days, so we kind of have to wait more until training camp. That's like a month away, maybe like 6 weeks away. But we're getting closer to training camp, and then we'll actually have a lot more insight. But just kind of to wrap up tonight, since we're already, almost an hour and a half, what are you guys looking for the most in terms of mini camp?
I'm looking forward for Diggs. I can't wait for Diggs to come back.
I agree.
That is 100% me right now.
Josh Allen is like Diggs connection.
I'm looking forward to the linebacker competition. That's what I'm looking forward to see who steps up at linebacker, who's going to be our starters, and also the cornerback 2 position. I want to see if Kyrie Elam could take it and go.
Yeah, I like that.
I guess my biggest watch is going to be, like, if I'm going to watch on a specific thing, it's probably wide receiver and linebacker would be my 2 biggest watches during mini camp, during this mandatory mini camp this week, because we got these guys like Hardy and Sherfield. Reasons why we got them is because the yards after catch. I mean, that was a big talking point to last year, was like, who are these guys that can catch the ball and go? And I think Hardy and Sherfield are those guys. I mean, the Bills only had 4.4 yards after catch last year, 11 broken tackles, and they had 38 combined drops. That is a lot of drops. That's why I'm watching out for these wide receivers. What have they improved on? And to get better to catch the ball, I mean, techniques to catch the ball. Is it maybe
route running too, right?
Route running is another issue.
I mean, we got a new receivers coach, so right. I mean, that's some storyline to watch, I guess, is how these receivers develop with an experienced wide receivers coach who, has coached some elite talent both in college and the pros.
Right. So
yeah, I think what's been lost with it. Sorry, Paul. I just want to say what's been lost within this offseason is the fact that we have a new wide receiver coach now.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Just things that I that's really the one thing I think we've been talking about most of the off seasons, wide receivers, drops, catch percentage. I think both these guys have pretty decent catch percentage.
Yeah.
percentage. The
I'm
linebacker number 2 is going to be a concern I want to watch out for. I think Dorian Williams, if he has a good minicamp and a good training camp, I think he's the number 2.
yeah, I agree. I mean, kind of just to piggyback off what you said, I'm kind of interested in seeing, you went with the new coach. I'll follow suit. He's not new per se, but his duties are going to be new, and that's McDermott calling plays on defense. I'm interested. We probably aren't going to really even tell until game action, but how is this defense going to look this season? Like, is it like the tendencies, personnel packages, formation? Like, I'm interested in seeing what McDermott, does to make this defense different, how he makes it his own compared to Leslie Frazier. And I guess the linebacking, battle is included in that conversation, just, how that ends out shaping up. But I mean, you mentioned Khalil Shakir. I mean, he's someone I've kind of been following all offseason. He's been working with Eric Moles. I even went back and watched that Cincinnati game, or not the whole game, but the QB coach. I think that's his YouTube channel. Have you seen him before, Tommy?
I don't know if I have.
He did a
I
really
watched
good.
it.
Yeah. You watched the same video, Paul?
Yep.
He did a really good breakdown of that game. Like, I was at that game. I haven't really watched the highlights or watched the game after, but that video made me appreciate that loss a lot more. And Josh did not. I mean, whatever fans or ESPN will say, like, they'll go with a narrative or stat watch, but like by the eye test and film, like, Josh actually did not play a bad game at all.
He did not.
That day.
Okay, man.
Yeah, the offensive line did not give him any time.
No,
I mean, what he did in that game with no offensive line was still impressive. Just some of the throws he made. Like, I guess the 2 throws out of that video that made me go, wow, was that the one he threw to Gabe Davis on the sideline, that sideline catch one, and the one where he literally went through his entire progressions. He started at this side, I think the left side of the field, then he goes all the way to the right side of the field and gives it to Shakir, which was a really nice play. So I think just a new appreciation, even though we lost, but just what he did with the poor offensive line and us actually going out and getting some big dudes actually just
Yeah, 100%.
makes life easier, maybe just for us to sigh relief heading into minicamp.
Yep.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot to look forward to with minicamp coming up in the next couple days, and then training camp coming up in the next 6 weeks. I know we're probably going to have Bill's Media Day today, pictures coming out in the next week. I'm very excited about that. It's probably one of my favorite times of the year is when we get the little photo shoot.
Yeah, we already got some of them. Like Josh, I think.
Yeah.
I saw Cook. Cook looks so icy at number 4.
I gotta see this. Where'd you see it?
On his Instagram story.
Really?
Yeah, he's posing in the number 4. Like, it's not just an edit. Oh man, he's got the helmet on too. Yeah, you got to check it out. It's icy.
I think that's another position group I'm also watching for mini camps as well as running back room.
Yeah. No, the running back room it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, he looks just like his brother.
That's awesome.
I know. He's ready to tear it up. Let's go.
Oh man.
Oh man, that
Can't
number
wait.
4 looks so nice.
It really does. Like, yeah.
Oh, in other news, Taron Johnson got married.
Really? Congratulations.
yeah.
That is awesome.
Congratulations.
Oh,
That's a good way to end out our show,
I mean, hopefully he can get 2 rings this year, right?
Oh, that would be
Sorry,
nice.
My ring light is like fucking this up. Yeah.
All right,
Congrats
but
to them. They look really cute.
yeah, no, that is certainly awesome. To hear for Taryn, and congrats to him and his wife. So, hopefully, we get more good news though for the Bills though. Coming up. I mean, anything else, Tommy, Jenna, Paul?
I got nothing. Right. Let's go get let's get our mini camps going.
Yeah, I'm ready for mini camps.
I'm so excited for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Also watch out for our new logo that's probably going to be dropping in the next couple weeks. We also have a new intro video that's probably going to be coming out in the next couple
Yep.
weeks. It's a temporary logo for the summer, for the
Yep,
start of the
and
season.
there's something else that happened that I can't think of, but I guess I'll just post it on Twitter or whatever. If I can think of it, I guess maybe it's not that significant, but all right. Well, anyways, thank you everyone for tuning in, and for Tommy, Jenna, Paul, I'm Ben. Thank you guys for watching the Undercovers. We'll be back on Thursday night on the Buffalo Basement with Matt and Pat. And that is at 8 p.m., I believe, right, Tommy? 8:30, maybe?
30.
8:30. 8:30, new time. All right.
Okay.
Same day, same show, new time, 8:30. Check them out. They do great work as well. So, anyways, have a great night and go Bills.
Go
Go
Bills.
Bills.
Go Bills, everyone.